The Aztecs football team gets a week off as the men's basketball team gets set for its first exhibition game against UCLA at Viejas Arena. Hello and welcome to Aztecs All In, the podcast that goes all in on San Diego State sports. I'm Weiner along with Steve Perez. Coming up, I'll go one-on-one with one of the two Aztec basketball stars that went through the NBA Combine before deciding to come back, and that would be Miles Byrd. Steve, what's going on with you?
Hi there, Lewis. Here it is, college football season in full swing. Aztecs on a 4-game winning streak, featuring some impressive wins, and they got another bye week. Not to worry, though, Aztec basketball coach Brian Dutcher has a talented collection of players already practicing at the Jam Center for what everyone expects will be yet another successful season.
Steve, usually this time of year, college basketball teams are practicing against each other with the opportunity to play one or two closed-door scrimmages against other teams. Last year, the Aztecs played a closed-door scrimmage against UCLA at Pauley Pavilion, and guard B.J. Davis scored 28 points. It was a fantastic performance that nobody, except the players and coaches for those teams, got to see. But not so this season. Those closed-door scrimmages are being replaced with exhibition games that fans can attend. Aztec fans will get their first look at this season's team in an exhibition Friday night at Viejas against 12th-ranked UCLA. And all that money raised, Steve, will go towards filling up those Aztec basketball NIL coffers.
Lewis, it may be a quiet week for those waiting to watch the Aztecs take on the Bulldogs of Fresno State, but not for the team. They are on to the next game by now. Anyone who parks in the structure on campus the right time of day will hear the loud bumping tunes from the football practice field, and maybe a few little snippets of woofing from the players and the coaches. But mostly, you'll hear the very loud bumping tunes.
Steve, I know exactly what you mean. If you park in the structure adjacent to the practice field, that music just echoes through the structure. And I can't wait to hear what Coach Lou had to say this week. But since it's a bye week, let's start with some hoops. Steve, what better way to get ready for the upcoming men's basketball season than to talk first about the most successful Aztecs hoops team ever, the 22-23 team that went to the national championship game. There's talk that this year's team could be Dutcher's most talented since he took over for Steve Fisher 8 years ago, and that includes the team that lost to UConn in the final. This comes up because Dutcher says he has so many good players this season, he's not sure how he's going to play them all. That means some really, really good players may not get the minutes they expect or hope for, and for this year's team to succeed, the players must accept their roles.
Obviously, that team was special, but when you're bringing Jaden Ledee off the bench, who a year later would be the Karl Malone winner, and you're bringing Aguica Rope off the bench, who is a starter any other day of the week, Adam Seiko, a 6-year senior, that depth was incredible. And actually, you could argue that the guys off the bench may have been better than the starters. So that's about putting a team together, chemistry, and who can accept what role and embrace that role. So sometimes I tell them, if you get so frustrated with your role or how you're playing that when your opportunity comes, you're not ready to seize it, that's on you. So play through your frustration, play through being not a starter, play through not playing the minutes you think you deserve, through the points you want to score. You got to play through all that so when your moment comes, you're ready for your moment, and then that can springboard you. So my biggest job this year is to keep the team focused mentally, to keep them out of feeling a sense of frustration when they're not doing the things they know they're capable of because they're on a really good team.
Mixing in the transfers, Latrell Davis, Jeremiah Oden, and Sean Newman Jr., along with the freshmen Elsie Harrington and Tay Simmons, is what Dutcher is trying to figure out. And it all comes down to one thing: winning games.
Yeah, all the newcomers, the freshmen, I like my freshmen. They're doing a good job. From not playing college basketball, come in here, and both Tay and LZ have done a really good job in practice and contributed at a high level. The transfers, now they're getting a look at what it's like to be at San Diego State. You know, the physicality of it, the length. And so there's an adjustment period even for them. Guys that have played 5 years of college basketball, there's still an adjustment period for them. But I like where they're at. I think they're making steps in the right direction. but obviously their best basketball is still ahead of them. Yeah, we had a Mesa event for our givers. They came and watched a practice, and at the end, well, first of all, I told them it was like having a board meeting. I'm speaking to the board because they're contributing to Aztec basketball, a shareholder meeting. And so I asked them, I said, I'll have a suggestion box by the exit. You put your starting 5 down. And they got a good laugh out of it because the difference between a starter and a non-starter is so small. So that's a good thing and a bad thing. We have a lot of talent. We have a lot of depth. And we have to find a way to use that to our advantage, not just to play him, to say, well, we have to play a guy because we feel bad. We're going to play our best players. But if our best players and our best team ends up being 9 or 10 deep because we can wear our opponent down, that's what we're going to do to win. Because at the end of the day, my only stat I'm concerned with is winning games.
One player on the Aztecs roster who's familiar with both starting and coming off the bench is Reese Waters. Before he transferred to San Diego State in 2023, he was the 6th man of the year playing for USC during the 22-23 season in the Pac-12. And this week, I got to ask him what he prefers, starting or coming off the bench.
I liked starting more, but when I was at SC, I still had starter minutes. I just came off the bench. So for me, it was more just about the minutes I got. Obviously, you'd love to be the starter because you love to be one of the 5 that get out there first and be able to impact the game first early on. So every player, I think, would say starter.
Speaking of Waters, he's back after sitting out last season with an injury, and Aztecs fans can expect to see him on the court a lot.
Yeah, Reese is getting better and better. He looks strong. He looks mature. I like how he's defending. And now he's got to get comfortable where and when to take his shot. He's a gifted shooter. So he shot well in the scrimmage this last Saturday. His percentage is going up. And I'm excited to have Reese back in the lineup.
After dabbling with the NBA, Miles Byrd is back this season. Byrd was really, really good for the first 2/3 of the season last year, but struggled down the stretch. This offseason, he got to play against NBA-caliber players at the Combine, and as you'll hear from him later, that made him a better player. Bird's return also provides leadership both on and off the court. But as Dutcher explains, that's a work in progress.
Yeah, he's trying. He's trying to be verbal and provide motivation for the team. But to do that, first thing you have to do is manage yourself. You have to be in a good place mentally where you have to manage yourself first. And if you can manage yourself, now you can go out and step up and help other people get better. So Miles has to lead when things are going well, and more importantly, lead when things aren't going well for him. So that's the key to any leader. When things aren't going well, can you step outside of your state of mind and still lead the team? And he's made steps in that direction, so hopefully that will continue.
Steve, one of the best answers we got from Dutcher during this week's media availability was from a question that you asked him.
Have you been able to put your finger on anything that the program or as a coach or the players lacked, because you were a couple of years removed from the national championship game? What does it take to get past that point where you've made the last game and you've won it?
Talent, coaching, discipline, sacrifice, all those things. You're not going to, I could be the same coach. I am the same coach. But it was nice running out there with the players I had on that team. They made me look good. And I helped them put them in that position. So hopefully I've recruited enough talent with my coaching staff that we can put a good team together again. And we don't know that yet, How good is Magoon going to be? He got hurt with 7 games ago. Arguably, he was making strides to be a first-round draft pick. So is he going to come back like that after missing a full, 6.5, 7 months of playing? Reese, he's coming back after missing a full year. How's Reese going to be? How will Byrd be in his 4th year in the program? Will he have made the next step? So we have good pieces, but they all have to get better individually, and then they have to get better as a team. So that's part of the journey. You never really know until you step out there and start competing, and then even if you're not playing well at the start, you can gel at the end. So and make a run in November or in March. So we're looking forward to another journey, finding all those answers out.
Finally, Steve, this is the Aztecs' final season in the Mountain West Conference, and Dutcher says they are the all-time championship leader in the conference in both the regular season and conference tournament play, and that he'd like to add another 2 before they leave and make this their best season ever in the Mountain West Conference.
All right, Lewis, here's your bye-week briefing on the gridiron grind before we get into the official Aztecs All In interview with Miles Byrd. The football briefing preceded the above Dutcher bits earlier this week. It started out mid-morning Monday with head coach Sean Lewis, fresh off that decisive 44-10 road win over Nevada. So the football team smoothly shifting the gears on the Aztec fast transmission. They are 5-1 overall now, 2-0 in conference play. Now with some extra prep time for the showdown 2 Saturdays hence with the Fresno State Bulldogs, or as Coach Lewis called them, the team up north. Lewis, Aztecs one of 3 undefeated teams in conference play, which has some talking about winning the dang thing.
This team has shown that as the lights continue to get brighter, right, like who they are is shining brightest. And so whatever that accounts to at the end of the year, if we can continue to, work our craft, work our skill, and refine who we are, then we'll see where the chips lie at the end of it.
Bulldogs at home in a rivalry game will have something to say about it. The game set for either a 12:30 p.m. or 4 p.m. Pacific time kickoff in Valley Children's Stadium. It's TBA by Fox Sports 1, pending this Saturday's FBS results. Now, the teams did not meet last year, so the Aztecs have owned the old oil can trophy ever since the last game of Brady Hoke's second stint with the Aztecs. At home, the Aztecs sent him out on a winning note with a 33-18 win in November 2023. By now, they are already over the big win against Nevada and looking at what to improve upon going forward as they practice against each other to gear up for Fresno State and the rest of the season's second half. Against Nevada, Coach Lou noted the Aztecs showed strength on special teams, defense, and offense. The proverbial all 3 faces. What needs improvement? Keeping focused throughout the entire game. The success to this point is expected, he says, because he believes in this team. But as a typically paranoid college football coach, there are all sorts of things that keep him up at night. On place kicker Gabe Placencia's streak of 22 straight field goals, Lewis says he plans to stay the heck away from him to avoid messing up anything that he's got going. On the emergence of Jaden Denigal and the offense, Lewis says it's due to him being efficient, getting solid pass blocking from a vastly improved offensive line led by Ross Ulugalu Masuli at center, and the addition of tight end Seth the Boogeyman Adams. And that means the Aztecs running backs have also taken advantage. Lewis talked about how Lucky Sutton on his rushing TD was met at the Nevada 2-yard line by 2 Wolfpack defenders, and he plowed into them both and took them both 2 yards into the end zone. Overall, he calls it a mature squad offensively that has taken time to learn how to play together, especially at the receiver spots. Denigal took some sacks against Nevada, but also pierced their defense on a few runs that Lewis says puts additional stress on opposing defenses. And getting back to that notion of winning the Mountain West, something the Aztecs have not done since 2016, Coach Lou started into a baseball metaphor that I had to ask a little more about.
It's kind of like, when you get a new leather baseball glove, right? Like, I'm not a real baseball guy, but like you get that new glove and it's kind of stiff and it's rigid and you have to work it in. And ultimately over time, like that leather starts taking to the oil and the sweat and the work. And then you have something. It's like, well, you got to continue to care for it and apply the proper procedures and process to it so that glove will take care of you for a really, really long time. And our guys got to, work this process and work our process and continue to refine the process like that great leather glove so that glove takes care of you when the moment hits and the moment strikes. And you'll have a high-quality mitt, and I think we've got a high-quality team.
What kind of shape is that glove in at this point?
It's in a good spot right now, right? Like, we're probably getting some familiarity with it all and everything, right? But, that leather can be fickle now. Like, you don't want to leave that glove out, right? You want to take care of it. You got to apply the right oil. You got to make sure you don't get the wrong oil, right? And then it cracks on you, right? So, again, the application of our process, if you will. And, again, like the next step for our team is, all right, next man up, right? Like, we've seen that the past couple of weeks now. And again, like as we build this program, not just this team, but as we continue to build this program to new heights, it's all right, the guys who are sub players, like, are you working with a sense of urgency to become a starter so that when your number's called at a point in the game, you're ready to go? Or are you just waiting for your time? Like, if you're just waiting, time's just going to pass. And then when the moment comes, like, you're not going to be ready for it, right? So this week is so crucial for us to get better and do great work. And that's going to look different for each one of our guys, right? Like, guys who have played a bunch of snaps, like Delshawn Staley's played close to 500 snaps this year, like between defense and special teams. Like, his work week is going to look a little bit different, right, than Prince Williams' work week, right, who's an ascending player in our program with good length and good physicality, but needs to, refine his competitive spirit as he goes. So that's the fun thing about, again, like, you get to zoom out a little bit here at the beginning of the week and really, look at where we can grow, where we can improve, how we need to compete this week, so that Mitt can continue to be in a better spot, not just for the here and the now, but for building this thing forever in the future.
Lewis, there's a late, great Aztec baseball player and basketball player who knew a thing or two about baseball and gloves. In the big leagues, Tony Gwynn won 5 gold gloves in his playing career with one team. That's the one that's still here in San Diego. Now, if that glove metaphor can keep getting worked on and cared for, this version of the Aztecs football team may have something they can be proud of by the end of the season. Still, though, a lot of football left to play. Lewis, at these avails, I like to try to ask about things that are bigger than the game itself. Maybe something we can all learn from about being successful if we pay attention to more than just the wins, the losses, and the completion percentages. These are people who perform at a very high level, and they have what it takes and have done a lot of hard work to get there. I've said it before, and will say it again. Any mom or dad should want their young men to be coached up by a guy like Sean Lewis. In football, especially high school and then college, when it's a young man stepping out on his own for the first time, everyone looks up to the coach, especially this one, who is 6'7". A lot of cues, though, are taken from the guy in that position. And I was curious about what Sean Lewis thought was the most important way to set a good example for these guys.
Do what you say and say what you mean. I want to be able to stand in front of the team and everything that I say, I wholeheartedly mean, and I'm not going to ask them to do anything that I'm not willing to do myself. I think that's really important. I think working very diligently to cultivate relationships with the guys so that those relationships can handle the truth so that we can all move forward in a rapid pace is really, really important, because these guys have such a small window of time to maximize this opportunity, especially if you're an older guy, that transferred in here, right? And like Jaden, just top of mind as an example, right? Like, Jaden entrusted in us and our staff and this place the last 2 years of guaranteed football that he has. So, like, you can't beat around the bush with that. Like, the sand is running through his hourglass, and the sand is running through the hourglass for this team. And we only have 6 more guaranteed opportunities with this team and this special group of individuals that believed in our process, that has believed in our vision, and now is seeing that. So I want to be truthful. I want to be freaking hardworking. And, I have my family and my wife around here all the time so that they can see hopefully what it means to, be a good husband, to be a good man, and that you can be a champion not only in this area of ball, but you can be a champion in life as well. And those things don't have to be, mutually exclusive, that you can do that collectively together.
All right, there you have it, Lewis. You build genuine, honest relationships. You respect people's time, work hard, and show them the importance of family, and winning at all you can as a team. Like we do here at Aztecs All In.
Steve, I couldn't ask for a better teammate. It is my pleasure being your partner in podcasting. So this week, the Aztec basketball players met with members of the media for one-on-one meetings. Members of the media got about 15 minutes with the players that they wanted to spend time with, and I got to chat with Miles Byrd, Reese Waters, and Latrell Davis. We'll hear more from Davis and Waters in episodes to come, but first, my conversation with Miles Byrd. So, Miles, are you surprised that you are back this season?
I'm not. There was definitely a time, maybe last year during the summer, where I thought there could be opportunity for me to leave. But at the same time, like, I'm more than excited to be back here, and this is the place I love, so I wouldn't want to be nowhere else.
How has your game improved after going through the NBA combines? Because that was a lot of weeks working with NBA potential players. And how did your game improve?
I think my game just matured a lot. Like, I think the difference between my sophomore and junior year was taking that step up on the scouting report for the other teams. And, when other teams start playing you a lot more physical and pressure you a lot bit more, like, you tend to speed up. And I think this summer has allowed me to kind of understand how to go against other ways that people can guard you, and I think I slowed my game down, which helps me, make better decisions and take better shots.
Talking with some of the other players that you were working out with, were you able to improve your game just by talking to some of them?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's funny. Like there was about 5 guys in our pre-draft group that I grew very close with, and they were all younger than me, all freshmen. Or one was a sophomore, and the rest were freshmen. And they kind of asked me a good amount just because I'd been in college longer. But at the same time, when you got a bunch of great skilled players with great minds, you pick your brains, sometimes even accidentally, in the middle of the workout, like, what's the most comfortable way for you to get to this type of shot or stuff like that. So, there was a lot of dialogue between all of us, and I think that helped us all kind of get better throughout that process.
So you were there during the national championship game. You didn't play very much that season. How would you compare that team to what you're seeing in this team so far?
Yeah, I think the biggest similarity that I see is the practices. Like my freshman year, coming especially from high school, I mean, I don't know if my vision was a little bit different just because I'm new and everything looks a little bit different, but as a freshman, it felt like we were so physical and worked so hard during practice, and I see the same thing this year, and that's coming from a senior eye now. I've seen a lot of basketball we played since I've been in college, but we just compete so hard in practice. We beat up on each other for the past 3 months, so I think we're really excited to just get on the court and beat up on somebody else instead of our own teammate.
I bet. I've got a picture here. Take a look at this picture here. So that's on top after Lamont. After Lamont, hit the shot. And there you are on top of the pile. What would that Miles Byrd say to this Miles Byrd now, knowing what you've been through and where you are in your progress in playing basketball?
I think that Miles Byrd would say, I knew you'd be here. I think, I came in, I knew that there was going to be a lot of development ahead of me to, get where I wanted to be. But I've always been very confident with myself as a player and as a person, and I know what I'm capable of. And I knew if I just kept my head down and kept working that there would be opportunity for me to be in the spot I'm in today. And, now it's just about being grateful for being here and not taking anything for granted.
Do you consider yourself a leader on this team this season?
Yeah, 100%. I think I've considered myself a leader, honestly, the past 3 years. I mean, the conception about you, needing to be one of the better players on the team to be a leader, I mean, I honestly don't agree with it. I think a leader, there could be a walk-on who doesn't step on the court who could be a leader. And, I think I have the tendencies of a leader. I'm very vocal. I try to get the best out of everybody that I'm playing with. So I think that's been kind of the leadership I've been able to have the past few years. And now, being a guy who knows the tradition, one of the only guys that knows the true tradition of SESU basketball, I make sure that we carry ourselves how we're supposed to be carrying ourselves. And I think I have that respect between my teammates where they all respect my opinion. Almost like, I was out all last week and I'm on the sideline acting like I'm an assistant coach, honestly. You probably need to shut up a little bit, let Dutch say more stuff. But, yeah, no, I think just knowing talent, understanding talent, seeing how we are, I don't want any regret to happen at the end of the year for our team. And so just making sure we're doing the little things every single day and we're all everyday guys.
Coach Dutcher at media availability yesterday was asked about your leadership abilities, and he said he pointed out that being able to lead when things go well, but also being able to lead when things go bad. Is that something you think you need to work on?
100%. I think leadership is something that you could continue to work on, even if you think you're the best leader in the world. I mean, I think there's nothing stopping you from developing on every aspect of your life. For me, I play with so much emotion and passion that, when I feel like I'm messing up, it's almost like, it's not like me shutting down on my teammates. It's like me thinking that they're shutting down on me. So that's why I think I get hard on myself sometimes. And, I think every single day is an opportunity to get better at that. If I maybe get frustrated in practice, I have to be able to snap out of it. And, I think doing those little things in practice will help me in games as well. If I turn the ball over twice in a row instead of, shutting down for the rest of practice and not being a leader like I need to be for this team, I work through it. And I think that's going to be something that helps me out later throughout the year. No season is going to be perfect. Even if you don't lose a game, there's nothing about a season that's going to be perfect. And, just understanding that and working through that every single day is what I'm trying to hold myself to right now.
So you've played with a lot of great players in this program in the few years you've been here. What current or former San Diego State player that you played with made the most impact on your game?
The most impact on my game, it's tough because I feel like I've never really played with somebody who I think I'm very similar to on the court. I think I got a lot of different things that I can do well, but I think just challenging me wise, I think it was Lamont Butler and Darion Trammell. My freshman year, I was on scout team, and as a scout team player, they usually had me as the most dominant ball handler on the other team. So for some games, it was I'm Amari Moore from San Jose State, and our scheme is literally just to stop him pretty much that year. And I think that challenged me to go against our best defenders every day in practice. So, I think just being comfortable with the ball in my hands, being comfortable making decisions, I think that's what's kind of helped me development-wise. As a leader, though, I got to sit behind Keyshawn Johnson, who I think has been the best leader that I've seen since I've been here. So, yeah, you got a mixture of being pushed on the court by guys like that, and then also getting to sit back and watch the truest of leaders step up in moments of the Final Four when we're down 14 at halftime. So, I've been around a lot of good guys. I think everybody's kind of had a lasting impact on me.
Not a lot of players had that experience, right, of coming back a few years later after playing in a national championship game against UConn. That must make your situation just really fantastic for you to be in.
100%. My dad was a Division I basketball coach. He was a Division I player. And I think the furthest he ever went was around the round of 32. So from my freshman year to sit and watch the national championship with guys that I live with pretty much. I'm with 24/7 and see them compete at the highest level, and then the following year get to go play UConn in the Sweet 16 in Boston, which is like a home game for them pretty much. I've seen a lot of high-level basketball. I got to be a part of a lot of high-level basketball, and I'm hoping that's something that we can achieve as a team this year.
And finally, how good can this team be this season, do you think?
Sky's the limit. I think it's up to us. I think last year we had the talent to make a run in March Madness. I think a lot of the reason why we didn't was just the little habits that we didn't build throughout the year that we normally do. I think we understand that, and I think we're all working every single day this year to make sure that that's not a reason why we don't get to where we want to go.
Miles, appreciate your time. Thanks.
If you missed it, former Aztec Xander Schauffele won on the PGA Tour for the first time this season. He did it at the Bay Current Classic in Japan in front of his maternal grandparents, and that was his 10th PGA Tour win. He had high praise for his former Aztec teammate, Austin Kaiser, his caddy on the bag in tough conditions. Xander also did well at the Ryder Cup with fellow former Aztec J.J. Spaun at Bethpage Black. Two Aztecs paired in that one in Day 2 4-ball. And Spaun actually clinched a point for the Americans with some key shots in that 4-ball with X on the back nine. Not enough to retain the cup, though. And we can no longer retain this episode of Aztecs All In. Check us out on the X at Aztecs_all_in. Drop us a line via Gmail, aztecsallin@gmail.com. For Louis Weiner, I'm the other guy. Back with you again soon.